Hi, this is Bobby Curnow, Chief Turtle Editor at IDW Publishing, and you are going to have a shell of a good time inside the pull bag.
Why, hello there, and thank you for listening to this podcast from us here at the Geekcast Radio Network. Are you ready to jump inside the pull bag, comic fans? We started out as podcast listeners, and we want you to know all the ways you can hear us nowadays. Be sure to subscribe and listen to all the GCRN podcasts on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Spreaker. In the meantime, stop by geekcastradio.com and join the conversation by commenting on the episode posts. We appreciate you, the listeners, as we are also listeners and producers of podcasts. Now, on with the show.
You've just jumped inside the pull bag. Join TFG1 Mike and the rest of the comic reading crew here at the GCRN as they make their great escape into comics. From DC, Marvel, IDW, Boom Studios, Zenoscope, and more, we have everything you want to read right here. Transformers comics? Yeah, we cover that. He-Man? Yeah, sure. DC superheroes like Batman, Batgirl, Nightwing, and Batman Beyond? Yep, we have those too. How about TMNT from IDW and I Hate Fairyland from Image Comics? Yeah, we have all that here. Plus, so much more. It's all inside the pull bag here on the Geekcast Radio Network. So without any further ado, it's time to talk about the comics we are reading right now here inside the pull bag.
Hello and welcome to The Pull Bag. This is episode 362. This is the final episode for July 2019. That's right, we are still in July. I'm, of course, TFG1 Mike. Joining me is Mr. Joe Reed. Hello, sir.
Hello, Mike. How are you?
Very well, very well. Lots of stuff going on in the TMNT universe here inside The Pull Bag and over at IDW Publishing as well. We are going through issues 81 to 85, because I forgot that trades are 5 issues, not 4. This is the Kingdom of Rats arc, where Rat King returns. But first, as I was reading issues 81 and 82, I noticed that Casey, wow, I almost said Casey Kasem. What the hell? Casey Jones first meets Jenica in these issues, and this is the first time that I've seen in a while that anyone call her Jenny. On the Turtle Flakes group, Turtle Flakes is a podcast done by Rob Luther, Josh Witt.
Jeremy DeWitt.
No, Josh Witt. Joshua, no, okay. It's not Josh. No, it's not Jeremy Witt. No, and I believe Joshua Rourke is on the show as well at times. But yeah, so somebody had asked on there, what's this thing about them calling her Jenny? Why are they doing that now that she's a turtle? Yada yada yada. I believe last episode of this podcast, folks, we had mentioned that Jenica has become a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. And apparently, according to Tom Waltz, this has been the plan since 2016.
I love that.
I love that too. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. Tom goes on to say that he said, always a plan in motion with our series. Blah, ha, 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 ha. And he said that when they first started calling her Jenny was way back in issue 61, which that was the start of the Street Phantoms 4-issue arc at the time. So that was when they first started calling her Jenny. And that was in August of 2016. So that's 3 years, folks. And at that time...
Yeah,
oh, go ahead.
I was talking before we started recording that the issue with Jenica's first turtle appearance is going for gobs of money on eBay right now.
Yeah.
But you know what I haven't checked and I haven't heard anybody say is Jenica's first appearance, as that might be, because the IDW series brought us Pigeon Pete, and Pigeon Pete showed up in the other animated series, and he showed up in the board game. Like, Pigeon Pete's a Ninja Turtle character now, and Jenica now being elevated from a background character to like a full-fledged part of the family member. I think we're gonna there's a good possibility we're gonna see her in other media.
Yep.
And the first appearance of those new characters, those are usually sought after comic issues.
Yes, they are. So we are here, as I said, to talk about Kingdom of Rats. This is volume 20 in the trade paperbacks. Can you believe it? This series has been going so... They've got 20 volumes. I mean, I know 85 issues is a lot of comics, but good lord. As I said earlier, the Kingdom of Rats story arc. Art is done by Dave Wachter on chapters 1 through 4, and Bram Revel on chapter 5, and Pablo Tunica on the prelude. Writers, obviously, story by Kevin Eastman, Bobby Curnow, and Tom Waltz. Script by Tom Waltz. I'm going to say this right now and right out of the way. I don't know which one of the... I think it's Bram Revel. His art style, we said this last time when we talked about the Triceraton arc. His art style for the turtles specifically makes them look like paper dolls.
I'm cool with him. I looked at that when I got to that issue, rereading it and saw the art change. Well, it's because it's a filler story. It kind of it's bridging that gap between where they're going in the next trade. But
yeah,
it's different. It looks a little faster. But at the end of the day, I started to appreciate it after not too long.
And like most people, I assume, that are like this, I am completely freaked out by... The only rat that I'm not freaked out by is Splinter. Rat King creeps me out. Everything he does with his rats creeps me out. What I find interesting on Dave Wachter's art, and I need to mention also that Rhonda Pattinson is on colors, as always, and letters and production is done by Sean Lee. Rhonda's colors and Dave's art, I love when, like, the panel where in issue 81 where he's like pointing to the rat, "After you, my friend," the rat goes through, and then it just shows his leg sticking out of the hole, and I'm like, how is he fitting in there? And then the next panel shows him squeezing out of it, like his stomach. I'm like, what? Nah. So we get all this stuff about him talking to his rats and about him doing his plan, I guess, and things. And the one panel here where he says, "Do you smell it, my friends? The uncertainty, the terror." Him fitting in that tunnel, it just, as a claustrophobic, that just makes... Between the rats and the claustrophobia, I'm paralyzed at this point.
I think you have a prelude that I do not have access to.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, then.
I'm flipping through trying to see what I'm looking at, like, oh, no, I don't see it.
Well, okay, then. So, alright,
That's probably the prelude you mentioned with Mika?
Yep. That probably is what this is. Alright, folks. Give us a second here.
Lucky guy. I'm jealous. This means that I there's something else I need to buy now so that I have everything. I wonder if that showed up in singles in Universe or something.
I'm not sure.
Sorry, no turtle waxing today.
Alright, folks. So, Kingdom of Rats. We're just going to pretend none of that actually happened. You don't know what was there, folks. This part has been edited. You'll never know what was here. Ha 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 ha.
Special features. We'll put it at the end.
Outtake. False start. Whoops. Which is kind of funny, considering I have a false start coming up in episode 366 in August. It's pretty funny. Good old Ryan, my buddy, who's been doing most of the other stuff with me here inside the pull bag, he read the wrong Star Wars books the night we were going to record, and I'm like, damn it. So, alright, Kingdom of Rats, folks. We've got the Rat King. He is back, and he's reveling in the chaos. He's reveling in the destruction. He's following his rats through these tunnels. And you have to be a contortionist to do this.
He's definitely... I could see that in some horror movie weird like, I don't even know, just creepy.
Yeah, he's very much a horror movie character wannabe. But yeah,
They do a good job with the Rat King. It's a new take, being one of the Pantheon, and as strangely supernatural as he is, but he's been around since the Mirage days. He showed up in the first volume of the Tales of the TMNT, and he never really makes sense as to what he's doing, what his motives are. He is a supernatural character even all the way back then, and is involved in I think it's not a spoiler anymore to say that in Volume 4, Splinter dies, and when he has his heart attack on the porch, Rat King's in the background. Rat King's been dead for years at that point, but he's there when Splinter dies, and they never got around to explaining that. But there's something weird with the Rat King, and I like how he's portrayed in this intro.
Yeah, I like how he's portrayed, but he still creeps me out. He's just...
Yeah, the Nickelodeon TV series has a really creepy portrayal of him too. We were watching that episode, my son and I, today, and he's like, "Dad, can we not watch this episode?" I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. This is just too much right now."
Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very much too much. But this is the panel here. Do you smell it, my friends? The uncertainty, the terror, the claustrophobic, and the rat fear in me just, oh.
Yeah. Beautiful underlit face.
It's an amazing... Yeah, it's an amazing piece of art. It just... I'm like Casey Jones. I'm a claustrophobic. No, I never looked at another guy in my entire life. You're a claustrophobic. What you say to me? Sorry, folks. Just flashing back to the 90 film.
It's easy to do.
Oh, yes. Very much so. And like you said, I don't quite understand his plan. This panel here where he's saying, "Run far and wide across this city, my friends, and tell me where the weak and helpless are." He kind of looks like, I don't know if you were up on it or whatever, when the Joker got his face ripped off in the New 52 and he was trying to get his face back. Mm-hmm. He kind of looks like the Joker when his face was ripped off here.
Yeah, he doesn't have lips, which is always a creepy way to draw things.
Yeah, very, very creepy. And then we get to Jenica and Splinter.
This is where I pick up.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, then. So we get to Jenica and Splinter. So this is where you pick up? Really? Okay, yeah, this would be issue 81. Huh.
And this is where Dave Wachter takes over.
Right.
On the art.
Okay. Strange. Because, yeah, alrighty then. Yeah, wow. I do love Dave's turtles. They look awesome. I love that Splinter and Leo are both meditating, even though neither one of them
goes back to that issue from a long time ago where they had an encounter with the Rat King in kind of the astral plane. Mm-hmm. So it shows their connection.
Yeah. And it shows them basically seeing the same thing of the vehicles, the people, the this, the that, and then it shows the Rat King playing his music. And all the rats dancing around to it and whatever, and Splinter's like, who? How does Splinter not know him? Does remind me, because I don't remember the original when Rat King was here before.
Yeah, I'm certain Splinter knows who that is. Maybe he's forgotten, or maybe there's something preventing him from seeing it. I can't, because I know they encountered each other in that in the meditation astral plane thing that Leonardo was on. I think that was during Dark Leonardo times, or right after.
Yeah,
because he was still having issues. They were out meditating on their own.
Yep. But I love Splinter and Leo's panels here. Who? Him.
Like Leo knows.
I love that. Oh man, this can't mean anything. Like I love the way that this is done. Dave's art, the voices of the characters. Who? Him. What does this nightmare mean? Oh man, this can't mean anything good.
It's like showing their similarities between Splinter and Leo, but how they handle it different, how they speak differently, the different level that they're on. They're saying the same thing, but they're handling it in their own way.
And then we jump to Casey and Hun. Hun's in the neighborhood bar with what's his name? Brooklyn.
Good memory there, man.
Well, he says it right there in the page.
Oh, never mind.
Damnedest thing you ever saw, Brooklyn. And Casey wants to talk to his dad because he has a fear of his dad trying to take over the Purple Dragons again. And he's like, "No, you're the leader. You're in charge. It's for the best, and I'm just here to follow you." And then the Garden State Wreckers come in, and I'm like, "Oh boy, New York versus New Jersey. Here we go."
Go back to Jersey.
That's right. So yeah, we're about to have a gang war between the Garden State Wreckers and the Purple Dragons when the Foot Clan show up with Jenica. They are helping their allies and waste them and all this and all that. And Hun's like, "She a friend of yours? The way she fights? I hope so." And again, I have to say, from the very beginning when we started this, where Casey and Hun are now compared to what it was back in the beginning of this, I am so happy that they have taken these two into a positive path together and not just had it be another deadbeat dad story.
It's weird. It doesn't feel like Hun anymore. Hun from the cartoon series, and that's okay. It doesn't have to. This is their Hun.
Yep.
And it is neat to have that connection, and then to have them rebuild it. I say it way too often, but it needs to be said here again. It's the turtles' strength comes from making family out of enemies, and they. Casey's a part of the Turtles family. Casey's bringing his dad back into the family, and as we can see by the three of them here winning this fight quite handedly, it works. They're going to be back together.
Oh yeah,
and they are strong together.
Yep. It's been an honor fighting alongside you, Casey Jones. And then, I have never seen Jenica this way. I've never seen her in this light because she's not this character. But there are two very big TMNT 90 moments in this comic book, in these 5 issues. And one is right here. Foot vanish. I'm like, oh my god, no, it's not Tatsu, it's Jenica. It's not Tatsu. And then, they vanish. Again, I love Dave's turtles. I love the way he does. I love the way most of the artists do the turtles. But I like this panel here where Jenica, and she's got a crew of foot soldiers with her. I wonder what they're up to. How much you want to bet more of Father's dirty business? And Mikey's like, Mikey just looks like, I don't even want to know. They're not so serious, but they're not so cartoony in the design here. Dave's designs are a meld between, the original hard-ass versions, like the Mirage versions, and the 87 versions, and
I dig their
it.
Noses and faces look more turtle anatomically accurate to a real turtle, but they're not disgusting.
Yeah.
Like that one movie that doesn't exist. It didn't happen.
That second movie wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad.
Wasn't that bad, but that first one was a little much.
Yeah.
So, and I haven't seen this in a while, But they go as we continue through this chapter. They go, but we got other things to worry about right now. If my vision was right, and Rat King's up to something, we need to find a way to stop him, and fast. Yeah, April's waiting. And then, I don't remember. We've been covering this series so long. I don't ever remember a moonlit rooftop jump in this entire series. I'm sure it's happened, just not the way Dave is doing it. Just not the way Dave is doing it, and Rhonda's doing it with the colors, with the background, with the turtles in shadow. Oh my god, I love this panel. It just looks so cool and so amazing. So Jenna,
more turtles jumping in front of the moon.
Yes. Forget that ET phone home crap. We need more turtles. That's right. We go to Jenica seeing the next ally, because if people remember in the Triceraton arc, Splinter, the Foot Clan, and Bishop have some sort of weird alliance. I said it before in episode 357, I'll say it here. I hate that Bishop controls Slash.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about their deal. Bishop gets a little bit disrespectful. Jenica wants to chop his arms and legs off or something. And he has Slash just kind of look at her, and Splinter just puts his hand on her, and it's this weird alliance, and I don't see where either of it is going to come out to an end, a beneficial end to either party. And then this is where the Rat King comes in.
Yeah, if in a lot of the in the scenes that we didn't have the Rat King showing up, there are rats hanging around. If you look, and Slash is brushing. Well, Bishop is brushing two off of Slash's shoulder. We keep getting reminded in these other scenes that the Rat King's up to something, and he's doing it right now behind all of these characters' backs.
Yes, absolutely. And he has all these children that have flocked to him, and he's going to be doing a ballad about bridges. That's not good. We get to Baxter Stockman, who is the hero of New York City, apparently. And Bern Thompson is interviewing him, and I gotta say, I'm so happy they brought Bern in as the reporter. I'm glad that they did not have April go down the reporting route.
Yep. Even though that's kind of what I think everybody knows her as. I mean, most people came to the Turtles through the 86 cartoon.
Yep.
But in most of the iterations, she's not a reporter, and I kind of appreciate that they haven't gone April's mom, which was a neat little nod, and we're only on issue 100. Maybe at some point she will be a reporter, but
who knows?
But I this is also a unique depiction of April. It's not only is she not a reporter, but she's wicked smart. She's a college grad or student and she's doing the science stuff. She started that way in the Mirage series, but then kind of hit the lower middle class wall that a lot of people hit, kind of plateaued. But I like where they're going, and I like that they've paid homage to the old cartoon by giving Bern, and later Irma is in this episode as well.
Oh, is she? Oh, I must have missed her.
She's on the television in the background. I had to look at the name.
Oh, that's right. I got to look at that again. Okay, I'll look at that when we get to. So they finish up the interview. April and the Turtles have got their stuff going on. And all of a sudden, Detective Kara Lewis shows up and has to take Stockman to Bishop unwillingly. And that's where Stockman is going. And Mikey has this crazy idea of using the Mousers. Oh, dude, these are awesome. You know they nearly ate up your entire home, right, Mikey? Yeah, still, dude, but they're awesome, which gives April the idea to talk to Baxter later. So they're trying to use the dimensional portal to get to the Toad Baron's Den of Delights. Man,
because they
this
want to
was...
go ask about Rat King there.
Yep. This was hilarious. This was just absolutely hilarious. Alberto? Yes, master? Please see these trespassing terrapins out. And the frog chefs attack the turtles, and Donnie can't stop laughing, and Raph's like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Whatever you guys do, please don't hurt anyone. And have at you, sir. Donnie's like, I just can't. And then the next TMNT 90, oh, it warms my damn heart. Come no closer, turtle fiend. Oh, a fellow chucker, hey? Oh, you guys wound my heart in such a good way. Because I don't know which version of Mikey's voice I hear coming out of IDW Mikey, but until that line, I had never heard Robbie Rist's voice, and I can hear Robbie Rist in my head. And I'm sure you've told this story before, but you have a story about TMNT 90 Mikey.
Yep, that scene where they're in April's apartment and the foot ninja comes out and flashes some nunchuck stuff, and Mikey says, "Oh, a challenge, eh?" And he takes his out and whips it around. I had that scene and paused it and went by frame and learned all of those katas on both sides of it. And to this day, I mean, the nunchucks, yeah, there they are. They're right on my desk over here. I can take those things and whip those things around, and I look like I know what I'm doing. But no, I can't fight with them. I don't know anything else. I just know those two katas because I watched the VHS in slow motion and taught myself how to do it.
But the real question is, can you take it on your finger and twirl it around? Keep practicing.
No, unfortunately, you need a Ninja Master accreditation to be able to do that, and I do not have that yet.
Keyword is yet.
Yet.
Yet, exactly. And I love how each of the turtles reacts to this. You know, these toad people or whatever. Yo, Umbrella Boy, don't make me rain on your parade. And Leo's like, one day without weirdness. Is that too much to ask? Just one day. And Donnie's still laughing. Mikey, oh man, that's a real banana. The umbrella goes pop. Oh, and Leo's like, oh, this is ridiculous. And he's like, now I know why Father taught us this trick. And it's basically the Vulcan nerve pinch, sort of. Yeah, so they knock out all the frogs, and they talk to the Toad Baron, and Raph goes to poke his stomach, and next thing you know, Raph is puking his guts out.
Must be one of those poison toads.
Must be. So, like you said, yeah, like you said earlier, they're trying to find out more about the Rat King. You know, because they need to find that out, and we go back to Bishop and Stockman and all that, and they're trying to find where they put the Triceratons. And Stockman won't tell him. He eventually does tell them that they're on Burnow Island, which sucks.
That opens a can of worms that hurts in the next arc.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it does. You know, I wish I had. I wish I had this panel here, this next panel, past where Bishop says, yes, exactly two. The panel with Jenica and Splinter. Mm-hmm. I wish I had this without speech bubbles, because that is such beautiful art.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. So nice. So they're talking about how Splinter still believes that Hun is not to be trusted, and she agrees, and, you know, he goes on to say, while governmental authorities are burdened with recovery and rebuilding, we have an opportunity to become the most powerful force in the city. You have your orders, tune and see to them. Hi, Master. It isn't supposed to happen this way. We didn't come here to looking for a fight, so we're back at Toad Barons. And again, they want to know how to find Rat King or how to defeat Rat King, and because of the Brotherhood of the Pantheon or Sisterhood of the Pantheon or whatever, he's not going to tell them outright, even though he says he's not really playing the Pantheon's game anymore. They have this really, really weird feast, and I can't... Like, this is like putting the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles into 1991's Hook, in the scene where they all fight with the food fight with Robin Williams. I'm like, oh my god, eyeball soup. Oh, I had that in kindergarten. Not really, but all this stuff is so gross.
I think, didn't they play that joke in one of the earlier arcs where they had the feast and everybody was eating, but then like the illusion went away and they realized they were eating this disgusting stuff? Mikey is just chowing down on this feast. The other turtles are like, no thank you. I think there's a joke, that's not chicken, right, Mikey? Yeah, well, it tastes like chicken.
Yeah. And then later it gets up and flies away. Or something. So, apparently in the Den of Delights here, the Toad Baron's Den of Delights, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has 8 doors, one each that will lead them to each one of their siblings, and they go through each one that could potentially help them. They talk about Sister Akka, Brother Mammoth, Gothano. They talk about, obviously, the Rat King's door. That's not going to work. Jaguar. And obviously Kitsune. And they decide to go to Brother Mammoth. Meanwhile,
they weren't really good choices.
Yeah, none of them really are. Man, I mean, I'm loving this. I think this is super cool. I love the Turtles' journey here. It's something... This is... Okay, yeah, it's the Rat King. Yeah, in general, I'm not really thrilled with Rat King as whatever. But because it's this series, because it's these creators, writers, and artists, as I was reading this, I was really intrigued about it, because I'm like, well, what's he up to? What's he going to do? What's whatever? What are the Turtles going to have to do? What might the Turtles have to sacrifice? And then you have all these other little parts of the story, like the Bishop and Splinter team up, or the Bishop and Stockman stuff. And then you've got Casey and Hun, and Splinter and Jenny, and all. It's all these moving parts that you don't think are going to work together, but they do.
They do work together, and it's all in service to the greater story, the story that both came immediately before, and then the story that's going to come after this. It's always good. I was a little thrown, I guess, by all of the jumping around. I had a hard time kind of staying focused while reading it. It's more on me than on the writing team or anything, but and I do have a hard time whenever the Pantheon kind of shows up. I don't quite know what they're up to, and the only one that I'm really interested in is what Kitsune is trying to come up with, and Akka also, because she at least wants the right thing, but she is strangely silent. Everybody else is they haven't intrigued me yet.
Yeah, I think I like Toad Baron's frogs more than the Toad Baron, because that was just funny. That was just absolutely funny. So, Rat King goes to the St. Robert's Orphanage, a lost home for lost children, parentless and homeless. A tragedy within a tragedy. But fear not, my forgotten urchins. The Rat King knows just the song to turn calamity into bliss. And he plays this tune which hypnotizes the children, and he, again, like you mentioned, the jumping around, we go back to Bishop and Stockman and all that, and this is where Stockman, we jump to the Turtles again. But no, he does. This is where he reveals that the Triceratons are on Burnow Island. And then we jump to the Turtles. This is where the chicken flies away because it was a chicken bat or something. And this whole time Raph is trying not to puke again. So they choose the Brother Mammoth's door, and ooh, it's getting cold. And once again, this art, I love them in the Siberian coats kind of thing, because Brother Mammoth is in the middle of Siberia. He then proceeds to hunt them, because that's what mammoths do, apparently.
That's what this mammoth does.
Yep.
I want more from, I do want more from this character. I have the vaguest memory of the cover of the Archie series where he is there, and there's a toy that's a mammoth. That I don't think I had, but so I know nothing about the character anymore, and he seems kind of interesting.
He seems very interesting. So after they have their little hunt and whatever, they share a meal, and he then points them in the way to get to Rat King, and we end up, I believe, on the bridge with the Rat King. We have this nice little interlude between him and Michelangelo. He's like, you forgot one of us, and I'm all about action, dude. It's practically my second middle name, Michelangelo Tezuka Action Hamato. Tezuka? So that's a nice little fun interaction, and they impress him by using this, the hidden rope trick or the hidden, wire trick to trip him up, and that's how they end up all becoming friends, sharing a meal. Oh, hey, you're right. We jump to Baxter, and yep, it is Irma. That's interesting.
She's in the universe, yay!
Yay! And this is where she's trying to convince Baxter about, using the Mousers for free to deal with the city's rat problem. He's like, for free? What's wrong with you, Miss O'Neill? And she points out, the good things about, doing that and everything else. Meanwhile, Rat King has the children on the bridge. He eats a rat, which, I don't understand. Whatever. Disgusting. Jenica goes to the next crime boss. I forget which one it is. It's the next crime family, and he's like, the thing is when Darius Dunn went down, the Foot Clan was the biggest, baddest crew in New York. Made sense to join up with them when your boss made the offer. But word gets around quick in this town, and I know all about those dinosaur aliens, and I know the rat took the best of his best up against them, and got taken out by his own damn kids instead. So I'm thinking maybe the Foot Clan ain't so big and bad after all.
Yeah.
And then, classic mobster style. It's, hey, gun battle, but Casey and Hun show up. The Purple Dragons show up. They kick the dude's ass, and
Interesting thing here where Jenica is about to kill the mob boss. She's got her katana up and is going to kill him. Casey stays her hand and says, remember what Splinter said about killing when you don't need to? I think that's a holdover from... That anger she has is a holdover from when she was with the Shredder and that version of the Foot Clan, the evil version. Like,
Yep.
no. Even though Splinter's being a dirtbag from our point of view, yours and my point of view, he's still better than the Shredder and doesn't want to go have people just blatantly murdered. So,
Yep.
he reminds her of that.
Yep, he does. And we go back to the mammoth and the turtles. And he shows them the door to get to the Rat King. They go. Now, what's interesting here is that he asks Raphael to stay back a little, and he talks to him. This, again, reminds me of when Splinter wanted to talk to Raph after he got back from the movies.
Mm-hmm.
In, again, the 1990 film. So that was really, really cool that the mammoth is giving him similar advice, kind of like... So, there's that.
I remember I read this part and had a flash of the only redeeming moment from the first new movie, where they're all holding on to the scaffolding, the antenna as it's falling, and then Raphael has this heart-to-heart moment with all of them about why he's a dirtbag all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, it's because he's angry and he pushes them away because he doesn't feel good enough, and like that's similar here, but interesting that was Mammoth's contribution to say, you'll be at war with the world until you admit that you want to be alone or that you have a deep need to be alone.
Yep. And we get to the bridge with the turtles and the Rat King, and the Rat King is gonna, kill these kids.
Dump them over the edge.
Yep.
Just to be a dirtbag, just to be a douche, because
Yeah.
it's all about chaos, I
Yeah.
guess, for him.
I guess, but there's no real. I know he thrives on chaos, but there's no real plan. There's no everybody else wants to take over the city, or Splinter wants the Foot Clan to be the most powerful organization in the city, or Krang wants to destroy the world or take it over or something, or whatever, but
This guy just likes his mayhem.
yeah. Yep.
I wonder if he has a part to play in the grand scheme of where the Pantheon is going, like when that eventually resolves.
Mm-hmm.
We could either find that out by issue 100, or that's going to be what happens after issue 100.
Very true.
I have to imagine that Kitsune is going to come back before issue 100.
I would assume so, yes. Not exactly sure, but so we get to the point of Baxter and April talking about the Mousers, and her, basically trying to convince him to run for mayor. We've got the kids fighting the turtles. We've got the Rat King enjoying this. And then we've got the rats fighting the turtles, and it's Leo goes up to the top of the thing and begins his astral planing. April and Baxter have the Flyborgs, and the Mousers go hunt the rats down. Which I think that's interesting. He has the Flyborgs and the Mousers working together. That's cool.
He mentions that he had originally planned that they be working in tandem to clear landmines, and that he got the idea from a Tom Clancy novel. Which tells me that Tom Waltz read a Tom Clancy novel, and I'd like to know which one it is now.
Exactly. So we get to Leo and Rat King being on the astral plane, because they assume that with him being in the astral plane, that on the real plane that his body won't be able to fight or anything, and the other turtles are like, oh, let's beat him up. Well, that doesn't work. That doesn't work at all.
Yep, he has no problem doing both at the same time.
Yeah, no. Yep. And Leo's like, how? I'm immortal, and that does not happen by accident. So you wish to stop me to save those pathetic urchins on the bridge? And for what? To return them to lives of abandonment and pain, lost and alone? No, it is better for them to die today in a grand, glorious, frenzied fashion. Not
Well, I see. Okay, so he thinks he's doing it as a mercy.
Yeah. And then Leo goes all, blue cold steel on him. And, Leo says, it appears I'm not the only one who's adapted to new things. Spent some time training in the thin places recently, have you? Not just me, my brothers too. And we get a scene with Donnie and Raph fighting the Rat King's body, and all of a sudden the Flyborg shows up, and then the Mousers show up, and here comes Leo.
Oh, that's right, because there's a bunch of rats there. Of course the Flyborgs would figure that out.
Yep. And they're like, huh? What? I'm just gonna knock you out now. So
interesting. I read this, but I caught it this time. The Flyborgs are targeting the Rat King, like their little artificial intelligence is registering that he's a rat or something.
Yep. Determined little monstrosities, aren't you? You have gotten the better of me today, mutants. You have proven yourselves clever and worthy adversaries. Well played indeed. I suggest you revel in your victory while you can. However, for adversaries we will forever remain. And he jumps off the bridge. And he disappears into thin air, or into the thin places. Dun, dun, dun.
I didn't catch that. Nice.
Yeah. Yep.
And what are they going to do with these kids that are now no longer hypnotized?
They're going to take him to an arcade and give him cigarettes. No, not really.
Have fun.
That's right. Regular
they might
or
as
menthol?
Well, the real solution is to take them to a different ninja clan, and the Turtles take them to the Foot Clan headquarters and ask their dad to put them up. Mm-hmm. I don't know why they thought this was a good idea, and with Splinter being the douche that he is right now, he's probably going to train these kids to murder people.
I think he's starting to. I personally feel like he's starting to come around. Jenica is like, Master Splinter, please forgive me for this interruption, but Clan Hamato is at the front gate requesting your presence. They say it's urgent. My sons? Greetings, Clan Hamato. This is unexpected. Yeah, Father. We're totally sorry for showing up out of the blue like this, but we really need your help. I'm hoping this is like them on the mend.
When we reread the next set of issues, I have a feeling like they have another mini fallout because he starts to train them, or there's a thought that he might. Because as if he's out there fighting for territory, that's not Master Splinter. No. That's greedy. That's a weird kind of behavior, and making deals with Bishop is weird. So and trying to kill the Triceratons a couple of days ago. Yeah. Just because they wanted his territory, there was a definite more definitely more verbal solution you could have come up with if you were thinking clearly.
True, very true. And we go to TCRI, and my name is Dr. Baxter Stockman, and I want to be the next mayor of New York City. Oh, Lord. We then get scenes of Baxter and April talking about, what are you going to do because of your government grants and this, that, and the other thing. And she's like, speaking of monsters, what do you have for me, you nasty little bug? Where's your mouser pal hiding, huh? And it goes to this museum, goes to the museum, and it sees that the mouser has been destroyed. Definitely not a rat. And this is where I kind of tune out on the turtles, specifically the characterization of them, because this is where that paper art style kind of comes in, and it just, like I said in the beginning of this podcast, generally I've loved all the different versions, different art styles, different artist interpretations of the turtles, from Sophie Campbell to Dan Schoening's original designs to Dave Wachter to anybody else that's done it. But these paper looking cutouts of them, I'm not a fan of this.
What I noticed with this, going from Wachter's art to this, was that Rhonda's colors did that switch too. Mm-hmm. It's neat that we've watched her tailor her color to the artist that she's coloring for.
Right.
I'm sure that's something that happens instinctually, but yeah, it works here, and this style wouldn't work with that art, and that art wouldn't work with this style. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's neat. The issue that I think I see here that you're having is generally from every perspective and an angle that you're viewing them from, the turtles' heads are ovals.
But it's
and
not
then the
just
head
their
wraps around it.
Yeah, but it's not just their heads; it's their entire bodies. Like, okay, the panel where it's Raph and Mikey and Donnie see the guards knocked out. All four of them see it, actually. The next two parts of the panel are where Donnie says, but that means we can't communicate with April either, and we've only got about 30 minutes before the system figures out it's been compromised. You look at that entire panel, you look at Leo and you look at Mikey. Their bodies, like, it just... I get that the artist is trying to show them in motion, but for me personally, it's not working. Mm-hmm. It just looks strange. And guess who shows back up? It's good old Leatherhead.
Have we seen him since he swam away?
Nope.
Wow.
I don't think so. So Jenica is now babysitting, because she's babysitting all the new foot kids as Leatherhead attacks the turtles. Casey comes in with ice cream and chocolate syrup and whatever, and he's like, there, that should keep him busy for like 5 minutes. And they talk back and forth, and they're kind of flirting, and I don't remember like when he and April originally broke up recently, but obviously he and April aren't together because they're on two very different storylines at this point. Mm-hmm. And apparently Vanilla is her favorite, and she's like, oh, you can just call me Jenny, and there's that. Yeah, so we go back to Leatherhead, and Leatherhead's not doing so. Oh, we haven't seen Leatherhead since 75. So not since he swam away, since issue 75 when he killed Krang.
Oh, that's right.
That's the last time we saw Leatherhead, because he mentions it here about killing Krang, because he starts having these hallucinations of Krang. And I'll say this for the artist that's doing this. The Krang looks really cool. This artist's version of Krang looks really, really cool. And again, Sean Leon letters and stuff, and like the pink the pink speech bubble with the pinkish red. That's hilarious. How a ghost of Krang or a hallucination of Krang is torturing Leatherhead, and I feel sorry for Leatherhead. I do, absolutely, because he's kind of gone crazy.
Yeah, they're playing him in this story a little bit like the Nick series, where Leatherhead just kind of snaps and goes animalistic, and well, he's snapped here, not necessarily going animalistic, but going like he wants the Krang that he thinks he sees, and it's taken over his brain, and in trying to chase down this taunting pink blob, he's taken out the turtles and the museum exhibits.
Yep. And then he goes down into the sewers. He escapes. We get Bishop. Bishop's on his way to Burnout Island, and that's how this one ends. I gotta say, even though this is called Kingdom of Rats, Rat King, I guess not doing a lot is doing something, but I wish there was still more to do with the Rat King besides just doing this mercy thing with the children. That was just a little strange to me.
Yeah, this arc felt like a bridge. I was about to say filler, but it's not a filler. It's a bridge between the last story arc and the next one. And, you had to get these characters into a position so that they're ready for the battle that happens on Burnout Island. And it's what this arc had to be. And to give a little bit of continuity between lining these characters up, they threw the villain in there to say, all right, yeah, you're the one who's going to be kind of the linking thread.
Yep.
Man, I feel smart noticing that.
Well, you are smart, Joe. Come on now. Don't take too much credit away from yourself.
Thank you.
Yes. This volume, these issues, for me, it's probably a 3.5 or a 4 out of 5.
Yep, you read my mind. If we had 3.75s, I'd do it, but 3.5 sounds about right. And I think there was no better way to do what they did here, serving as that bridge between what's going to happen next. We had to revisit some characters. We had to remind people what they were after, and so that's what it was.
Absolutely,
that's what it had to be.
Abso-friggin-lutely. So here inside the pull bag, folks, I want to make room for the next thing of Turtles before Joe has to start school again. I don't know if that's going to happen because all of next month, Autobotley August, episode 363 to 367, is all recorded. Actually, Autobotley August this year is actually going to take us till October because it's actually episode 363 to 370.5 with all Transformer stuff except for 2 episodes. We've got Star Wars Darth Vader from 2015, which is written by Kieron Gillen, with art by Salvador LaRocca on episode 366, because, 66, Star Wars, Order 66, whatever. And then my buddy Jeremy Fine returns to the podcast because we started a series a number of years ago. It was Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky's Sex Criminals from Image Comics.
That's a great book.
Wow, I didn't think you read that book. But yeah, Sex Criminals. I tried explaining it to my wife, and she's like, "Okay." And then because I had forgotten, because we haven't done this we haven't reviewed it in a while. Mm-hmm. And we're just now, there's reviewed volumes 1 and 2. There are 5 volumes total. So we're starting now again with
3 volumes behind. Oh my gosh.
We're starting with volume 3 here, and we will finish the series because that's just how we roll around here in the pull bag. But I explained it to her, and I hadn't read it in a while, and I forgot things. They're having sex to stop time to rob banks. And I left the part out about, like, I put in, oh, they have sex and it stops time. But I forgot to put in the part where they're robbing banks. So that's what's coming up for August, September, and October. We've got Unicron coming in with the big Unicron miniseries, and then we'll close it out with Transformers Optimus Prime Volume 5, which is the end of the previous IDW universe. The new universe started up, and we'll get to that eventually as well. After that, coming in October, we've got Power Rangers Volume 6, and then a bunch of Star Trek and Superman stuff as well. So there is that. Where can the people find you online, sir?
Because I'm an old man, find me on Facebook at facebook.com/geekstuffgaragesale. You can visit me in person at the Geek Stuff Garage Sale on September 14th. Saturday, September 14th, we're having another event, 50 vendors, all free, selling nerd stuff in Grand Rapids, Michigan. All that information is on that Facebook page.
Cool. Awesome. You can find me online at TFG1Mike on Twitter. You can also follow at The Pullbag on Twitter and at Geekcast Radio for all the network updates. Make your great escape into comics, and we will just catch you next time here inside The Pullbag for Autobotley August 2019.
You've just heard the latest episode of The Pullbag, the GCRN's first comic review and discussion podcast. There are several ways to get in touch with us and leave feedback for the show. You can visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts. You can rate and leave a review for the show on iTunes. Be sure to leave us feedback. Become a fan of us on Facebook, facebook.com/thepullbag. Send us an email, feedback at geekcastradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at thepullbag and at geekcastradio. So until next time, make your great escape into comics and unleash the geek in you.